Good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
We'll start in another few minutes. 1 or 2 minutes. We'll wait so that all of them join, majority of them join, then we'll start. Okay, we'll start now. Share the slide. Okay, so we were discussing on different types of research, right? So in the last class we started discussing, we said that the research can be classified into different types. So say descriptive and analytical research. So descriptive research is one type, analytical research is another type. Applied research and fundamental research, quantitative versus qualitative research, conceptual and empirical research. So that's what we were discussing yesterday. So further we will see today the other type of research. So I hope descriptive research, what we discussed yesterday, analytical research, applied research, fundamental research. So 4 different types we have discussed. I hope it is clear with you all. So I'll not go again, right? So we have many other concepts to discuss. Anyway, I'll be giving you all these materials. And any doubt is there, please ask. Okay, we'll discuss. You can ask online. You can ask. You can ask in chat box. You can ask in WhatsApp group. You can ask in Google Classroom. So there are different platforms in which you can interact. So interaction is very important. Discussion is very important. Okay, and it is not just theory. It is very practical thing. Okay, research is practical thing that is happening, right? Everywhere research is happening. That's why we are enjoying the whatever, whether it is technology, whether it is the comfort. What we are enjoying is the result of research. Many people are into research. The knowledge that we are, undergoing, it is a result of research, right? So like that. So research is a very practical thing that is happening. So tomorrow, if you want to build your career in research, you can build your career. You can be part, you may be employed in a research agency. There are multinational research agencies are there where they continuously do research. Their job is to do research. There is no manufacturing. Okay. So, as I said, every organization requires research inputs, research information. Every organization, they have to do research. So they may not have a separate research department. So what they will do, they will go for research agencies. There are companies which do only research. Their job is to do research for other companies. So these are called as research agencies. Okay, there are multinational research agencies are there. There are so many other large agencies are there. Or tomorrow, if you become an expert in research, you can start your own research agency. Right, so like that, the opportunities are very, very large. Or tomorrow you want to do your higher studies, if I don't know, some people may want to do their PhD or other research. So this knowledge is very important. Plus, obviously, you are going to do a project, internship. You are going to do internship after this semester. In between your second and third semester, 1 month you are supposed to do internship. So it is a research thing that you are doing. Then after that, in between third and fourth semester, you are going to do a project. So your second years have just finished project. So they are yet to submit the report to the university. So that is nothing but research it is. After your MBA, as I said, somebody wants to do PhD. So that is a research, purely research. Like that, or finally, I don't know, some people may end up in a job which is a research based organization. Then it is you are dependent on research, you have to do research. Okay, then okay, it may be that you are in some company, you come to a position, you become a manager, you become a chief executive officer, a CEO, director. So that time you will have to know what is research, because you will have to do research. You will ask your research department to do research. So this research knowledge is important. So the research, so try to understand, look, in depth we may not be going anywhere. In depth we are not going because there is a lot of scope. It is like a ocean. Research itself or any subject for that matter is very ocean. So at this stage we are just touching upon the main things. Very fundamental and basics. Okay, in depth we are not going. So you just try to, you need to get an idea what is research, why it is done, what are the different types of research, what are the steps involved in research. So this is what we are discussing mainly in the first unit. That is very fundamental, that is very basic. Okay, so we had started discussing on different types of research. Descriptive type research is there, analytical research is there, then we said applied research and fundamental research. So we were discussing on some of the examples of basic research. That's what we stopped yesterday, right? So further we'll see basic research. Yeah, that's what yesterday 3 examples we discussed on basic research. I hope it is you have understood it. Any doubt is there, you can ask further. Then applied research is conducted when a decision must be made about a specific real life problem. So many of the times there are certain problems. Real life problem is not, we are not talking about personal problems. Okay, it is rather problem related to business or a situation. So you will have to take a decision. So the time the research that you do is where you have to take certain decision based on the outcome of the information. So that type of research is called as applied research. So some examples are there in the context of business. So in the context of business, what is applied research? Some examples. Suppose you are doing a research to know whether you want to add some new product to your business, new product. Okay, that's a question to the manager, to the top management. Top management always, you know, they want to decide whether to add a new item, new product to their product manufacturing. So they cannot just think, okay, I like that product, the manager likes that product, or their family members likes that product, and they think that, you know, other people may like that product, so they will manufacture it. Or they have the raw material, they can source the raw material, they are expert in manufacturing that, so they will produce. So this cannot be done. So whether to start a new product or not cannot be based on these, you know, factors. So for that, what they have to do, they have to do a research and find out whether there will be demand for this product in that particular market. So a specific example is there. Everybody knows McDonald's, right? So should McDonald's add Italian pasta dinners to its menu? The same thing I have told in a very general sense, whether a new product has to be added or not. Okay. So Italian pasta is one of the you know snacks. So McDonald's plans has to decide whether they have to add this new item to their menu or not. So if they are doing a research and find out whether there is good demand for this Italian pasta in that particular region, so it depends. It is not worldwide. Say, for example, McDonald's India or McDonald's in Bangalore or Mangalore. Just imagine if the McDonald's in Mangalore outlet, though they have the decision to add or not add a particular new item. So they may do a research in Mangalore and find out. So it is restricted to that geographic region only. So they have to do a research in Mangalore and find out whether there is good demand. There would be good demand for Italian pasta, one type of food. So, and if they find out that there will be good demand, sufficient number of people, say they may do a survey among opinion survey, preference, it is called as preference, right? Taste and preference. You know what is taste and preference? Consumers' taste and preference, what they like, what they would prefer, right? So they want to know this, whether Italian pasta they will prefer for lunch, dinner, right? They want to know it. So if they find, they may do a survey among, say, maybe in Mangalore, if it is, say, some 20,000 people, they will interview, they will conduct a survey. A research agency would be given this job. Okay, in Mangalore, there will be some research agencies. So they will go and meet that person, they will call them, they will tell, look, we want to decide whether Italian pasta has to be added to our new menu or not. And that research agency will tell, yes, okay, fine, we will do a research and find out what would be the preference of Mangaloreans. So they know McDonald's, who are the customers who come, what type of demographic characteristic people come there, what is the age group, what is, it is not that every Mangalorean will go to McDonald's, right? Certain age group, certain lifestyle people only will go to McDonald's. So they will do a survey among this segmentation. You remember segmentation. So this particular segment, they will choose a sample size. So maybe around some 20,000 people will be surveyed. Then they will get an idea. In that questionnaire and all should be there. What they will prefer, how much they will pay, and so many things will be there. Some 20, 30, 40 questions will be there related to the preference. Then when they analyze this, there will be something saying that, okay, out of these, so many percentage of the people prefer. So out of 20,000, maybe say if they find that 30, 40% of the people, 40% of the people prefer, then they may start add this Italian pasta to their menu. If they find only some 5% of the people prefer, 95% don't like Italian pasta, then they will not add this. They will come to know that there will be no demand for that product, even if they add that menu. However good it may be very tasty, the price may be very attractive, right? But people don't prefer, then why they have to add it? It will be a loss for them, like that. So this is what this is the example of applied research. If McDonald's does a research like that, then that is a applied research. So why I am telling applied research, because action is taken. They are going to decide whether this new product, so in this particular case it is Italian pasta, whether it is to be added or not. So I have told in detail so that you understand how actually it is done practically. Okay, so now in this particular case what happened, they did a research and found that what they decided it should not be added, because majority of the population did not prefer. So it was their decision that they will not add Italian pasta to their menu. That was their decision. Okay, so here what is the point of understanding? So you should understand applied research is where there will be some decision taken based on the research outcome. Okay, whereas basic research, what happens, there is no decision taken, it is just expansion of knowledge, right? Expansion of knowledge, some new knowledge is added. That's what examples we have discussed in the last class. So one more example is there, a company Procter Gamble. So they have certain products like toothpaste, oral hygiene products. So they wanted to know whether, again, it is a similar, what is that? Should Procter Gamble add a high-priced home teeth bleaching kit to its product line? Yeah, it is same thing, similar to the previous example, where a new product has to be added or not. Something like bleaching kit, a product where it helps to whiten the teeth. Okay, so the brand is Crushed White Strips. So it is not available in India. I don't know. I'm not sure. I have not used it. So I don't know if you are aware of it. Crushed toothpaste are there. White strips, I don't know. It may be available. So this is an example from some other country. But research is research everywhere. Everywhere, wherever you go, whichever in the globe, business research is business. Fundamentals are same. Okay, so it's an example of that. So research showed that crushed white strip would sell well at a retail price of $44. So it's an example of American company. I mean American example where what is the price of that particular product. So something like, you can just imagine like a toothpaste. Okay, so they wanted to know at what price the product would be sold. So they want to fix price for that. So even fixing the price is based on the research. A good company, good organization will do research to find out what should be the price. It cannot be just fixed. If any company does without doing sufficient research, then it is not a very good company. Their decision may go wrong. They may suffer losses. So there are companies, they will not do much research. So it is at higher risk for them. They are into higher risk. So like that. So here again, the main thing what you have to understand is the example of applied research is like this, where the information is used to take certain decisions. So that is called as, so wherever or action research or applied research, both are same. So you are taking some action based on the research outcome. So that is called as applied research. So here what is the action? So they are going to fix a price, $44. So you can take this example, apply for Indian context. Okay, you can take so many examples related like this. You can imagine, you can have your own examples. Any, say, pricing of a masala dosa in a South Indian restaurant, a pricing of a shirt for middle income group, pricing of a notebook for a college student. So like this, you can think n number of examples. So I have just given a few examples here to understand. Then other type is qualitative and quantitative research. Qualitative versus quantitative research. As the term, this is general term, qualitative, quantitative. Qualitative means qualitative. It is where some things has to be explained. Okay. Quantitative, where you explain in numbers. Sales. Can you tell me now whether sales, what the year-wise sales of a particular company, whether the data is qualitative or quantitative?
Quantitative.
Excellent. So Rashmi has answered. I find Rashmi is very active, and others I'm not finding interactive. I don't know what is the issue. So you have to be interactive. So she has pointed out rightly. Okay. Suppose I want to know the sales of a company for some years, or even 1 year, or some months. So how do I get it? Is in numbers, is it not? Numbers. It may be in say volumes, or it may be in terms of the it may be in the numbers of units, or it may be in terms of the price, like that, sale price. So like that, some research are based on the quantitative numbers. Some research are qualitative, which is based on the information, which is not quantitative. Say for example, you want to explain a human behavior. Human behavior you cannot explain quantitatively. It should be qualitative explanation. The consumer behavior, right? Consumer behavior you have to explain. A human behavior, how an individual is motivated, how a individual performs, right? Employee stress, employee performance, work performance, right? Like that. So these type of things, concepts, has to be research has to be done qualitatively. Motivational research, what factors motivate individuals to work, right? So something like that. So these type of research are qualitative. So where you are not doing much of quantitative information, you are not involved in doing some numbers, that is qualitative. Where you are involving in quantitative information, that is more of quantitative research. So how data will be collected for qualitative research? Qualitative, okay? Qualitative, quantitative, two different things. So normally the data are collected for qualitative through focus group. Okay, depth interview. Depth interview is one technique. Depth interview is nothing like an interview. Interview, say a face-to-face, one-to-one interaction is there. Depth, why it is called depth means it will be there for say 45 minutes to 1 hour or more than 1 hour. So that particular individuals, where say respondents, they will be made to sit in front of the researcher and they will keep on asking some questions and this person will be answering. All that data will be recorded. So now it may be done through telephone or internet, web calls, chatting or something like that. But that is called as depth interview. So there are certain questions that they will ask and that has to be replied. So only thing, it will be for long duration. It's not for 10 minutes, 15 minutes or 20 minutes. It will be there for 45 minutes to 1 hour. Depth is called as depth interview. So this is one of the technique of collecting qualitative data for qualitative research. Then another one is focus group. Focus group is something where a group of people are asked to discuss on a topic. I don't know how many of you know, or whether, I don't remember conducting a GD for you, but you remember a group discussion, okay? If somebody, I think in PDP or something, you would have conducted PDP. PDP or some other activity, or in the next classes there will be some group discussion for you. But group discussion is different and focus group is different, but the way of conducting there is some similarities. Objectives are totally different. So here the members are asked to sit in a group of 8 to 10. 8 to 10 members are asked to sit and discuss on a topic freely. They will be discussing on a particular topic. So here what topic it will be there? It will be based on the research topic. So you want to find out what factors influence employees' motivation in an organization. Your study topic is that, research topic is that. So they will give that employee motivation in workplace. So that is the topic given, and the people 8 to 10 members, they will have to freely discuss. So there will be observer, there will be somebody who will be observing the researcher. So what he does, he keeps, so this discussion will happen for 20 minutes or 30 minutes. While the people freely discuss, this person is noting down some points that is pointed out by the members. Important points that comes in the discussion. So that is focus group. Okay. So this findings, this data will be used for research. So it is not one focus group. They will conduct so many focus groups depending on the sample size. So sample size is the numbers from which you have to collect the data. So similarly, depth interview also, it is not one depth interview. They will conduct for so many. So I said, say if it is 20,000 sample size, then you will have to conduct 20,000 in depth interview. Right. So if it is focus group, you have to conduct for 20,000 sample size. So 20,000 divided by say 10 numbers. 10 is the number of people in focus group. 20,000 divided by 10 is how much? 2,000. So 2,000 focus group has to be conducted like that. Just for your imagination. Okay. So depth interview, focus group. So here, what is that they are collecting? What type of information they are collecting in qualitative research? It is about attitude. Attitude is how the people think. How do we define attitude? Attitude is the way you think. Okay, you want to know the individual's attitude towards certain concepts, something, say workplace environment. Attitude towards a brand is there. Attitude towards a organization is there. What people think about a particular product, brand, like that. So it has to be studied, very important in the marketing and human resource concepts and finance, in the management concepts. Measuring the individual's attitude is very important. Okay, whatever context it may be. So how do you measure? It cannot be measured in quantitative terms. It should be explained. It should be measured qualitatively. Individual behavior, whether it is consumer behavior, employee behavior. So that is qualitative research. Psychology, the psychology. Consumer behavior is a psychology. Human behavior is related to psychology, or any psychological research has to be done. That is qualitative research. So how do you measure these specific things, say attitude, behavior, and psychological aspect? There are certain techniques. Okay, sentence completion technique, story completion techniques. This in detail we'll be discussing in another unit, but just for your information, sentence completion is where a half-filled sentence is given to the respondent. It may be in a questionnaire. Okay, half-filled sentence. I would like to, I am highly satisfied, dash. So that I have to write when, what. So if I give this sentence to 100 people, I will get 100 different answers. So what is the answer that I write is actually reflecting my attitude and behavior. So by that people can analyze. So what I talk, what I behave, psychologists can interpret how I think. My psychology can be interpreted, understood. Got it? So like that. So sentence completion techniques are there. Story completion. A story is half told. The ending is not told. So that has to be done by the respondents. So ending the story should be done by the respondents. So that is story completion. So that is how they collect data when they want to measure the attitude, behavior, and they want to do psychological studies. So these are qualitative research. Then quantitative research, you are doing any financial research, you are doing the performance of financial performance of a company. So how you cannot do qualitatively, you have to do quantitatively. You have to know what is the profitability year-wise, what is the sales turnover. So you will have to calculate certain ratios that is based on your sales. It should be based on the data that you collect from balance sheet, profit and loss account. So everything is numbers there, right? So that is quantitative research. So like that. So now you know what is qualitative research and what is quantitative research. That is another classification of research. Then another way of classifying research is conceptual and empirical research. So conceptual research are done by philosophers, thinkers, where they come up with new concepts. And empirical research is based on experience, observation, and experiments. Experience, normally the people with certain experience, say 10 years, 20 years, 30 years experience in a particular field, so they can come up with some concepts, right? So we see concepts in finance, HR, marketing. Concepts are there. Now who does this? These are the people who are having very much experience in that particular field. So that is conceptual research if they are doing like that. So data may be collected through the experience. Observation is another technique for collecting data. By observing a particular situation, data can be collected. Say how patients' data are collected. Patient. It is through observation. What is the temperature? After giving medicine, what temperature? What happens to the temperature? Whether he is cured or not? What is the side effects? All is through observation. So observation, lot of research can be done in management also. Employee training and performance can be done through observation. A particular group is given some training, and what is their performance? It is observed. So that is observed. You need not ask through a survey. A depth interview may not be conducted. Okay, a focus group need not be conducted. Just by observation. 1 month, what is the performance of an employee can be just observed, and it can be interpreted. So observation is one thing. Experiments can be done. Lot of experiments can be done to collect data. Say again, training and performance. How will you do experiment? So before training, say you can imagine a retail outlet. How is the employee performance before the training? 1 month before the training, what is the employee sales in a retail outlet? It will be analyzed. Then they will be given one training. After that, what is the performance? You are comparing. So that is an experiment. So if there is increase in the sales after the training, then you will say this increase is because of the training. So that is what you found through this research. So that is an experiment that is done. So not necessarily experiment has to be done in laboratories, chemical or physics. Not necessary. It can be done in management also. So that also is an example. Okay, some research is done, some experiment is done in chemical laboratories. Okay, all this drug or medicine. How do you come up with an experiment? Only they will come up. The cure for COVID-19. How do you find out? With this experiment, they will do experiment. Okay, so all the medicines medicinal research is done in laboratories through experiment. Physics research is done through experiment. Electronic research is done through experiments. So in our college itself, I don't know how many of you have observed, there are labs. Chemistry lab is there, physics lab is there, electronic lab is there, mechanical lab is there. So all this engineering department, they will have to do research through experiment. Okay. So even in management field, you can do research. So you want to find out, as I said, employee performance and training, like that. It can be done through research. I mean, sorry, the experiment. So data for conceptual research or empirical research. Conceptual research is where it is concepts. The people are coming with concepts. Empirical research is where the research is done through experience, observation, and experiment. That is the difference. Then there is another type of research that is called as what is that? 17? Huh? Yeah. Somebody was asking why I have to shift to. Sir, once can you shift to? Okay. No, however, don't write all these things. I immediately after completion of this chapter, I will be sharing it. Okay, I will be giving it. I can give it now also, no problem. Because what I do is I will do some changes. Normally, when I take class, for example, today I was just saying what I have to discuss with you. So this is a old slide only. If I want to change, I will change something there immediately. That's why I normally give the slide after the class. So whatever changes I make for you, that will be incorporated. Otherwise, I will be sharing the old slide only. Okay. No need to write. Just try to understand what is being said. Okay. So that is the. Anyway, I will be sharing this. If you want to write, you can write. No problem. I have no issues. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's okay. 17th slide. I think that's okay. So then we were discussing on conceptual and empirical research. So that is okay. Then we said exploratory research. There is another type of research which is called as exploratory research. So here what happens, this type of research is done to get more clarification on a particular area. So normally any research, before doing any research, first they have to do exploratory research. Understood? Because when you're starting a research, you don't know much about the topic, what you are doing, how to do the research, what are the variables involved in the research. So how to know about this? By doing exploratory research. Okay, first you have to know you have to do some more analysis on the area which you are interested in. Some people may be interested in doing a research on employee turnover, HR topic. Employee turnover. Employee turnover means people leaving the organization. You want to find out what are the reasons. That may be some people's interest. Some people may be interested in work performance of employees. Some people may be interested in the financial performance of the company, finance topic. Some people may be interested in portfolio analysis, say in mutual funds and share market, how to increase the wealth, what is the best portfolio. That is a particular area where they will take different portfolios. Portfolio is nothing but a basket with the different stocks. Which is that? Okay, infrastructure, automobile, okay, banking stocks. Which combination will give you more returns? You want to find out. That is your interest area. Some people's interest area. Some people are interested in finding out the consumer research, consumer related, consumer loyalty studies, consumer preference studies, anything like this. It is different areas. Okay. So, but when you are starting research, you don't know much, but you know what is your interest, which area you are interested, but you don't know how I will have to do this research, what are the variables involved in my research, how should I, frame the objectives, what questions I have to ask, what is the methodology, how should I go about doing research. You don't know about this. So for that, you have to do first exploratory research to gain more knowledge on that particular area, as what you have to study, how you have to study, how you have to do it. So how to do that? By going through already done some studies. There are so many studies that is being done in each and every area. You take any topic, any area, there are so many lakhs and lakhs of studies that is already been done. That you have to go through. That will be reported. There will be reports. There will be articles on that topics. So that you have to study. How that that person researcher has done a study, what factors he has taken for his study, variables that he has taken for study, how he has done the study, what methodology he has adopted, what type of data he has collected, how he has analyzed the data, how he has reported, what was his findings. So when you do this study of several such researchers, you will come to know how you have to do this research. There are different ways. Broadly, there are certain steps involved in research. But how to do it and what to collect, there are so many different ways. Okay, so that you have to individually understand by doing some exploratory research. So that is the exploratory research. So this research is done to conduct resolved ambiguity. So exploratory research is conducted to resolve the ambiguity, to solve the ambiguity. Ambiguity means confusion. So now many of you may be in confusion. What is this research? What is this, how to do a research? So when I've given you a topic on in the marketing management, I said you people have to do a research. But there, what I did, I told you what should be the topic. I told you what should be the objectives. I think I have also told you what should be the questionnaire. So like this, nobody will do. Okay, when you are doing your internship or project, obviously there will be guide. But guide will not dictate you questionnaire. Guide will not dictate you objectives that you have to do based on your understanding. That is what you are going to learn. So that how will you do? You will be in an ambiguity, confusion state. What to do, how to do, where to do and all. So for that you have to do first exploratory research. Okay. So that is the ambiguity. Ambiguity means confusion. To solve that confusion, if you are doing a research, that is called as exploratory research. The role is to give direction for subsequent structured research. So this is unstructured research. Unstructured means there is no specific steps involved in doing this particular research. When we say structured research, there is specific steps involved. So this is a unstructured, exploratory research is a unstructured research which is done before the structured research is done. Whether it is causal research, whether it is empirical research, whether it is the research that we have spoken, qualitative research or quantitative research that we are discussing. Before doing that, you have to first do exploratory research. Okay. A review of market opportunity for a business, you have to just analyze some example. You want to just see the market opportunity. You are doing a market opportunity research before you start a business. That is a exploratory research. An informal survey conducted to identify the problem in supply chain. So supply chain. I hope everybody knows what is supply chain. Don't ask me what is supply chain. Why? Because we have already discussed in marketing management. Supply chain, the last module I remember. Okay, supply chain means, okay, again I'll tell you if you have forgotten. So supply chain is where it will start from the raw materials, the supply of raw materials to the final end product. What is the process involved? What is the people involved? All this element is totally called as the supply chain. So the raw material is supplied by the supplier to the manufacturing unit. That manufacturer may be manufacturing the final product or semi-finished goods. If it is semi-finished goods, it will go to another manufacturing unit. From there, final product will be manufactured, and these final manufactured product will be taken by the wholesalers, and this wholesaler will be taking it to the retailers, and the retailers will be taking it to the consumers. So all these chain, different set of individuals put together, it is called as a supply chain. So there may be some problem in the supply chain. There is a problem. So you are trying to find out what is the problem in the supply chain. If you are doing research on that, that is exploratory research. Example, okay? So it is less structured, as I said, it is more flexible. Exploratory research is more flexible. That is, you can change the things what you want to do. Flexible. It is not very rigid. It is not conducted to test preconceived proposition, nothing but hypothesis. I was telling about hypothesis. In detail, we'll be discussing next step, okay? When you are talking about the hypothesis. So hypothesis is nothing but assumption. So some of the researchers, you have to test the hypothesis. So that cannot be done in this type of research. Testing hypothesis is not possible in exploratory research. It can lead to some testable hypothesis, but you can develop some hypothesis from this. But testing hypothesis is not possible in exploratory research. It is the first step of researcher. Exploratory research is the first step of any researcher. You are doing a literature review if you have to do before research. So that is nothing but an exploratory research. I will tell you what is literature review. Then another type is conclusive research. So conclusive research and exploratory research are the two different types of research. So conclusive research is done to test the hypothesis. It is more structured and definite. There is certain steps involved, and what should be done after each step is definite. It is clear. So that is conclusive research. Variables are clearly identified. You know the variables, what is there in the study. So when you are doing that, that is conclusive. In exploratory research, you are not clear about variables. You don't know, there is no structure. It is more flexible in exploratory research. Here it is opposite of that. And you can test the hypothesis here. There you cannot test the hypothesis. Research findings are critical significance. It is very, the research findings are, very critical, means very important for a business or any other area, which field it is done. So like that, that is conclusive. It's totally opposite of exploratory research, conclusive research. So this descriptive research I have already described in the very beginning. So some more things are there, some examples are there. I think that you can understand. I don't want to repeat it again. So already there, the slide is there. I will share it. Okay. Causal research, did we discuss? Cause and effect. It is to measure the cause and effect. It explores the effect of one thing on the other. So for example, you want to study the effect of rain on crop. Rain on crop. Whether there is positive effect on paddy crop, paddy crop. Or you want to study the effect of rain on the, say, coffee plantation. We have some people from Kurd. So that's why I want to give this example. So whether rain increases the crop of coffee, you want to test it, you want to make a research. So that if you're doing like that, then it's a causal research. You want to find out what percentage of rain will lead to better coffee yield, or whether it has an effect or not. First you are going to establish that. Okay, we don't know. We don't know whether there is by observation we will see that. That is different thing. That is not a research. By observation we will see that some rain is there, there is more yield and all. That is the different thing. But you want to do it scientifically, you want to do it, then if you are doing that, that is causal research. So I have given an agriculture. But in business, you want to do a research whether advertisement has an effect on sales. Advertisement has an effect on sales or not. In general, we'll tell yes, it is having good effect and all. But specific advertisement, whether it is as a affected sales or not, whether economy has an effect on sales or not, packaging of a product has an effect on sales or not, you want to find out. Each one is a different research. I mean, different research is, differently you have to conduct. All these are example of causal research. Cause and effect. Cause and effect is there. That's why it's called as causal. Cause and effect. Okay. It explores the effect of one thing on the another, or effect of one variable on the another. So variable. So I gave you the example of rain and coffee yield. So rain is one variable, coffee yield is another variable. I was talking about the influence of economy and sales of a product. Economy is one variable, sales is another variable. I told about advertisement and influence on sales. Advertisement is one variable, sales is another variable. Like that. So you are trying to find out the effect of one variable on the other. So when you are talking this, there is two different types of variable. One is independent variable, another one is dependent variable. In statistics, I think you had a statistics, right? You had a statistics subject. So there dependent variable and independent variable was there. In the example of sales and advertisement, can you tell me which is dependent variable, which is independent variable?
Sales is dependent.
Okay, very good. So she has answered very correctly. Sales is dependent variable. Sales is dependent on advertisement. Advertisement is independent variable. It is not dependent on anything. It is not dependent on sales. Is it not? Advertisement is not dependent on sales. But sales is dependent on advertisement. Similarly, I told about the example of rain and coffee plantation, coffee yield. So here, rain is independent, coffee yield is dependent variable, like that. So that you should be able to identify which is dependent and independent. So here in this causal research, so causal research, you're trying to identify whether there is a relationship, whether there is an effect of independent variable on the dependent variable. If you're doing that research, it's a causal research. So here, this research is highly structured and it is rigid, very structured, and there are steps to follow. Sequential approach is there. Other variables may have to be controlled. So now taking the example of sales and advertisement, so you know there are so many other factors that influence sales. So you cannot, in the realistic situation, you cannot control other factors. But in laboratory experiments, so if it is related to chemistry, physics, electronics, or other, there also causal research can be done related to that area. So if other variables are involved, then that has to be controlled. You need to know the effect of one independent variable, right? So that will be done. Other variables may have to be controlled. To study the flexible work policies on a turnover intentions. Another examples, work policies. HR policies in a work environment, in a working place, in an organization, there are HR policies. HR policies are the policies towards the human resource. How they have to work timings, remuneration, holidays, okay, employee benefits, all that. It is clear it is mentioned in the HR policies, work policies, in general work policies. When they can take leave, when there will be training, all that in detail it will be done. So whether this work policies has an influence on the employee turnover intentions, employee leaving the organization and their intention to leave the organization, whether this has any relationship or not, you want to find out. So if you are doing that, it is a causal research in the area of human resource. And in this, majority of the causal research are quantitative research and causal research. If you are doing a causal research which is based on quantitative, it becomes quantitative causal research. Okay. Okay. Research, fundamentally and basically, the secret of success is to know something nobody else knows. So how do people become successful? Because they know something the other people don't know. So information is very important. Knowledge is very important. So one of the ways you can get knowledge and information is through research. So like that. So some top research agencies I have just mentioned, it is there in the slide. If you do Google also, you'll get so many different examples. Top research agencies. Then next class we'll be discussing on the business research process. What are the steps involved in research? So this we will discuss in next class. Okay. Thank you very much. Anything if you want to ask, you can ask. The WhatsApp also you can ask. Here also you can unmute and ask. If you want to ask through chat box, you can ask. Thank you. See you in the next class.